Well, hello. This is the Cowboys and Unicorns podcast. I'm David.
And I'm Dan.
And we've got a super special guest here today, Mr. Christian Cooley from Colorado. You want to give us a quick, brief intro about yourself, Christian?
Yeah, absolutely. Christian, I'm a worship pastor at my local church and a guitar teacher. I make pipe boxes and tampers and cigar boxes on the side just for fun. And I love smoking and drinking and relaxing and hanging out with cool people like yourselves.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
So where do you live?
So I live in Colorado Springs, Colorado. So it's kind of smack dab in the middle of the state.
Okay. Sweet. Have you lived there your whole life, or did you move there? Or?
No, so I've been here, I think, 13 or 14 years. I moved from Indiana, northwestern Indiana, with my family out here years ago, and then I've been out here since.
Cool teams.
Yeah.
How'd you end up out there? Was it a job or the worship leader gig? Or?
So it was, my dad's job was pretty mobile. His company, he worked for an IBM partner, and so his company had an office out here that he would come visit. And so there's a large church out here called New Life Church, and so they have a pretty killer music thing going. I mean, they've released albums and all sorts of fun stuff. So, but he knew I was into music, and so he was one day decided, he was like, "All right, like let's do it. We're moving out here." So that's how we ended up here.
Your dad packed up the whole family and moved just to get you a cool opportunity to network with a cool church and music.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
How old were you moved?
Gosh, I was 8, about to turn 9.
Okay.
So it was a while ago.
Yeah, just a little while.
Nice.
Just a minute, but yeah.
And you're fairly newly married?
Yeah. So our first anniversary is in 2 weeks.
Oh.
So it's on the 16th.
All right.
Dang. We've all been for like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Dan got married the weekend after my wife and I got married. And that was in,
that's awesome.
in June
2016.
2016.
Yeah. That's sweet. Were you guys at each other's wedding?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
My wife was actually helping a photographer shoot Dan's wedding, but I was able to just be there and enjoy the free beer.
Yeah, send him an invite.
Yep. I got an invite.
There it is.
Yep.
Did you guys know each other well at the time, or?
Yeah, we've known each other for like 3 years?
Well, we've actually known each other kind of for probably closer to 6.
What? 6 years?
I've lived in Morris for 3 years.
You lived in Morris for 3 years, yeah. But...
I stole the girl that you were fond of like
6
years ago.
Yeah, I had a crush on a girl, and then Dave started dating her, and then when he was done dating her, then I dated her for a little bit, and then we married different people. And
yeah, it's a good thing. But
that's awesome.
I'm gonna get myself.
I'm wondering.
My wife started listening to the podcast, even though she said she never would. So
we could do like
hopefully
ex-girlfriend's podcast
with you guys,
right?
Oh no, the ex-girlfriend. Yeah, no.
We won't. We probably won't do that ever. At least not recorded.
Oh,
right? That could be bad on many levels.
I'm going to move really quick. It's starting to rain outside.
All right.
Colorado in the afternoon generally rains. So we'll see if we keep you or not.
And now for our commercial break.
Somebody please sponsor us.
We have a pipe box here by Cooley Pipe Supply.
Yeah, what are you smoking, Dave?
Well, I just finished smoking some Dunhill Navy rolls that were really fantastic. Breaking in a new pipe that I just finished up the other day, and now I'm moving on to my Peterson pipe that my parents brought me from Ireland because I had to buy a pipe box from Christian Cooley, Pipe Supply, so that I could actually set this pipe down when I'm smoking, and I figured it was fitting to smoke it now.
It helps.
I'm gonna break out the Dunhill Elizabethan mixture, which is probably my number one favorite pipe tobacco right now. So,
Still drinking the Oktoberfest?
I am. I am all about all things fall drinks. So,
Do you like pumpkin spice?
yep. I just went to Caribou Coffee and had the pumpkin spice latte last night, and every single chance I get, I will have the pumpkin spice latte until it's gone.
Okay. Yeah. I'm pumpkin spice is like neutral to me. Like it tastes fine.
I'm like a basic white girl, Dan.
Yeah. Some people are hardcore
So,
haters.
so I saw you guys like some Colorado beers. So I just saw one of our local breweries, Breckenridge. They just released a pumpkin spice ale.
I bought Dan a pumpkin ale last year, and he poured it out.
Yeah. I don't like pumpkin flavor.
Wow.
But you can send me a pumpkin spice ale, and I will drink it. Dan will not.
Yes.
No.
That's all right.
Not about the pumpkin life. Everything else pumpkin I'm fine with.
Do you like pumpkin drinks, Christian, or neutral?
I'm somewhat a fan. I actually didn't like pumpkin just a couple of years back, and I started my now wife got me to try some pumpkin pie, and it was homemade, and so I was like, all right, this isn't bad. So I've been in the coffee industry up until a couple months ago for 6 years.
Oh, wow.
And so I managed different shops and help open one and stuff like that. So pumpkin spice lattes were in every fall event. So you get used to it
They should be
after a while.
every year event, not just a seasonal thing. But that's my opinion.
Yes.
Then that might kind of though, you know, too much of a good thing type of it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But
Everything in moderation, including moderation.
what are you smoking over there, Christian?
I'm working on I forget what company it is, but it's a Sombresa Torpedo. I picked this up at Ford on Fifth down in Arizona while I was there on vacation this summer, and the owner Anthony he recommended it to me, and I've seen a bunch of them on Instagram and stuff, and so I was like, well, they probably can't be awful.
Right. I mean, I haven't really probably ever had a
they might be.
That was awful, but
yeah, you never know.
Right.
Never know until you get into it.
Good segue though into. I put together a few rapid fire questions for you, so hopefully you're good under pressure.
Let's go.
I'm gonna give you a couple options. You have to just tell me, or you can respond with something witty that's not in the options. And I've got a few questions. Dan was supposed to make a few, but I don't know if he did.
Oh, I was? I thought
know.
You just sent me the list and you're like, these are what we're asking him. I was like, sweet.
All right. So, pipes or cigars?
Generally pipes. I enjoy cigars, and my wife does not. So pipes.
All right. Whiskey or beer?
Whiskey. Well, bourbon or scotch, really, but
okay, really.
Whiskey will do.
That works.
Bourbon.
Summer or winter?
Summer, comparatively.
Taylor Swift or Katy Perry?
Ooh. Ooh. I don't know. Maybe Taylor Swift.
All right.
I don't know if
that's a good choice.
I don't know if I can.
Yep. Ford or Chevy?
Chevy. Found on road dead? Probably not.
Introvert or extrovert?
I am an introverted extrovert. So.
What does that mean?
I'm an ENFP. So basically, I'm an extrovert, but I need time to recharge alone.
There you go. That sounds similar to me. Unforeseen or sloppy wet?
Ooh, sloppy wet every time.
Good. Okay. Yep.
Man, that's like an inside question.
Yeah. Yeah,
For
I mean, some people might not get this,
listeners.
but I just couldn't pass that one up. So
no, that's a good one.
Yeah.
John Mark did it right.
Yeah, John Mark did it right the first time. And then Bethel or Jesus Culture? Yeah, pick.
Bethel.
All right.
I actually went to their school worship years
Really?
ago. Yeah. So that was pretty sweet. but they're all good guys. That was when Jesus Culture was still at Bethel Church, and so they're sweet people.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So you said you like the summers better. What are the winters like in Colorado?
So winter in Colorado is okay. It depends on where you're at. So in the springs, if you live down in the city, it's not awful. It gets pretty snowy. I mean, we can get a foot plus of snow in a day, pretty easy.
Okay.
The issue isn't that it snows a lot. The issue is that we're right up against the peaks, and so we get a ton of wind. And so it'll pretty much probably be 4 times out of 5 when it snows, it's blowing and it's almost a whiteout, or it is a whiteout. So that's really what makes it dangerous, and it gets really icy really quick.
Yeah. Yeah, we live on the prairie here in Minnesota, so we get the nasty, windy.
Yeah.
For sure.
But we don't get quite as much like snow in one day as you're talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably not.
But yeah, I've had, now this is years ago. It hasn't been this bad lately. But it was one time so I live up in an area called Black Forest. And so it's right outside the city, probably about 5 miles outside.
Okay.
And the edge of the city, and it's just trees on trees on trees. It's a really dense forest.
Yeah.
But it gets really bad up here. And so where my parents live, probably it was a good 8 years ago, we lived in an area that was unprotected called the Palmer Divide. And so it's just this straight, no trees at all, just plain field. And so we
The joys of remote calls.
Nope, nothing.
What?
There you are. Now you're back.
No.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Hey,
there he is.
Where'd I leave you last?
Open field, so up against these trees.
Open
That's where we had
field, so it's outside of the trees. In this area, there's one where we got 6-foot drifts across almost all of our 5 acres.
Oh my God.
And then we got an 8.5-foot drift against our garage door, and so we couldn't even get the truck out to plow.
Wow.
So yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, those are actually like when there's legitimately no way you can actually go out and go to school or whatever. It's actually kind of fun.
I was homeschooled, so I didn't get that luxury.
That makes 3
There's
of us.
no such thing as a snow day.
Homeschoolers. 3 homeschool dudes.
Why are we even having
podcast.
a podcast? I think that we beat the odds though for homeschoolers because look at this. We're here smoking and drinking, tattooed and pierced and.
I don't have tattoos, David.
Yeah, that's just.
Neither do I.
Come on.
I'm sorry.
Come on.
Actually, I've got 2s everywhere.
I'm going to get a
true.
big one this weekend. So.
Oh. No.
Hey.
What are you getting of again, or do you not say?
It's like a scene of Jonah.
It's a mom tattoo right across his chest.
Right, just mom right here. No, it's like Jonah and the whale. So I actually don't know fully what it'll look like yet. My buddy Caden is a tattoo artist at Beloved Studios in the cities, Minneapolis here, and so I got the appointment booked, but they draw the night before. So like tomorrow he'll be drawing it for Saturday. So.
Nice.
Pretty excited.
Nice.
So Christian, how did you get into cigar box making or not cigar?
Pipe box.
Pipe box. My bad.
Well, I do cigar boxes too. This is my cigar box.
Those are pretty sweet.
Yeah, they're great. And then here's a little sneak peek. These are the new ones that haven't been released yet. Anyways, so I got into making them. So my smoking habits are not from my family. They're actually my father-in-law. He smoked cigars for the longest time, and so I was going over to their house, getting to know the family, and eventually he was like, do you want a cigar? I've got a bunch of extra ones. And I was like, sure, why not? I'll give it a shot. So I tried a couple cigars. I went with one of my friends to our local cigar shop called Stag, and they have a walk-in humidor for pipes and for cigars. And so I ended up getting a pipe, bought a couple cigars, got some tobacco, and
Dang, went all out right away.
yeah, I was like, let's go. So started that way, and then right before our wedding, we did our wedding on like the super cheap end. I think we made it out for like under 3,000. And so right, and so what I was doing a lot of like DIY wood stuff.
Sure.
For the wedding and signs and stuff like that. My wife's a designer, and so she's amazing at hand lettering things and stuff like that. So I was making signs for the wedding and that kind of thing, and I would be smoking my pipe in the workshop, and I would constantly be setting it down because you have to use two hands to measure something
Right.
or to a piece of wood or whatever it might be, and I would try and lean it up against something, and it would fall every single freaking time, and just your ash goes out. There's no point in even trying again. And so I was like, dang it, I have to build something that's better, that will keep my dang pipe up, because I'm tired of it just falling over. And so I built this super janky pipe box that, I mean, like it was like old wood that I found in their wood pile, and I cut it up and made a really badly proportioned box, and that became the first pipe box. The bottom didn't line up with the ends of the box, and the ends didn't quite line up with the ends either. But it worked. And so I was like, oh, this is pretty sweet. And a couple of my groomsmen smoked pipes as well. And so I was like, you know what? This would be like a kind of fun groomsman gift.
Oh, where'd it go?
Oh man.
I'll come back.
Nothing? Yeah.
Okay, so you make them for your
yes,
groomsmen,
no.
right?
Oh, yes. All right. So you can hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah? Can you hear me? Okay, good. Good. Okay. So people who helped us pull off the wedding, the husband's a woodworker, and he's amazing. And so I went to him with the box, and how can I make it better? And so he taught me everything that I kind of know at this point.
Wow.
And so we worked. He had a router set up, and so we did the box joints on the sides, and figured out a way to carve out the ends so that you get that nice U shape.
Yep. Okay, you're good now.
Okay. But yeah, so I was like, what if I had a box that could hold two pipes? Because I'd invite friends over and we'd smoke our pipes together. And
Right.
so that's how that bigger box came about. And then I was like, well, I smoke cigars too. And I tried to put my cigar in my pipe box, and it didn't stay up, because it'll sit in it for a second. And then, once you smoke it down just a little bit, it falls.
Right.
And so that's where I came up with the cigar box, and it has an extra, like, place to hold the cigar up as it smokes down. And so then I was like, okay, well, that's a cigar box for one cigar. Why not do something that can hold two or more? And so that's where this new design came about. So that's copper piping, so it has a low heat conductivity, and it's open, so there's air constantly moving through it. So even if you set your cigar on it for a minute or two, obviously it'll get close to going out, but it won't heat up, and it won't burn anything weirdly. So yeah, That's kind of how it all came about.
That's sweet. So you were a barista, and now just fairly recently full-time in worship ministry?
Yeah, so I'm part-time doing student worship ministry at our church.
Okay.
We've got I think there's like 2,000 people that go to the church, right around there. And so the youth group's right around 200, 250 on average. So I basically got hired on to do a worship internship
Cool.
at the church. And so I'm running that and kind of getting it going. It actually just launched yesterday. Yep. So that's been really fun.
Cool.
Kind of planning out and stuff. So
Nice.
yeah, and then I teach guitar lessons on the side as well and
Very
do
cool.
the boxes. So
Nice.
So
yeah,
did you meet your wife through the worship ministry stuff that you had going on, or somewhere else? Or?
kind of. Yeah. So I met her through a band that I was playing with, and the first time we met, of course, I don't remember it at all, which is convenient on my end. And she'll tell the story every time. She looked across the room. I was playing guitar in this prayer meeting, and she was like, "I'm gonna marry him someday." And she was like,
What?
"Wait, what?"
Really? Wow.
Yeah. And she was like, "Wait, what?" Like she was kind of dating someone else at the time. She was like,
Yes.
"That's so weird." Right? Right?
Wow.
Dude, you gotta play guitar. That's how you get married, man.
That's actually my wife when we were at, I was leading worship at a worship night, and she told a couple friends that she was going to marry me before I really even knew she existed either. So,
Dang.
Ayo.
gotta,
Man.
well, you don't have to learn guitar
Something
anymore.
about that worship band.
Right.
All you kids out there, join a worship band, and the ladies will love
You
you.
might get married. You never know. So I remember meeting her about a week later, and she walked into this room. We were having a kind of a worship night somewhere else, and
Hey, we'll try this again.
third time's a charm, yeah.
Right? We lost
Hopefully.
the Pro Tools recording, but we have the recording from the video software, so
Cool.
we should be okay at least.
Yes.
All right, third time's the charm. We're just gonna start over from the. So you went over how your girlfriend or now wife first saw you.
And then you saw her
While
like
you were
a week
leading
later.
worship, and you saw her a week later, and that's where we left off. So
Okay. So saw her a week later, and she walked in the room, and I was like, she sat down. I was like, she's the most beautiful girl in this room. And I was like, that was a random thought. Like, not like exactly just going around looking for random girls to be like, oh yeah, she's the prettiest in this room.
You're not
She's
sizing
no.
up every room, like, oh, which is the
Nope. But yeah, I was like, that was really random. So naturally, I don't know if it was that night or after that, but I stalked her on Instagram because
that's the natural
normal
step
thing to do. Yeah,
for sure.
exactly. And so I followed her on Instagram, and I think like she was in England at the time. She's from England, and so
Oh wow.
she was visiting her grandparents out there on their farm, and so she was like, "Who's this random person following me?" And then she looked at my picture in my profile, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, it's that one guy that I like had that thought about." Exactly. And so yeah, so she came back, and I think a couple weeks later we were at a Halloween party, and she was sitting around a fire talking to this one lady. So naturally, I just kind of snuck in there, sat down close to her, and joined the conversation. And we started talking, and I got her number, and then we started texting back and forth, and progressed from there.
And then you got married a month later.
And then we got married the next week.
Wow.
Or 2.5 years later.
There we go.
Come on.
So do you have any great wisdom from 1 year of marriage?
I think there's not much to know after 1 year. I think there's a lot to learn about yourself. I think that's the thing I've found, that I'm a selfish asshole most of the time. And but besides that, I think it's just been learning to listen more and listen better,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that first year you kind of
And
realize you're actually the one who has a lot of work to do.
mm-hmm,
Not that you're
yep.
like, oh, my wife, she needs to get her crap together.
Not me, dude. I nailed it.
Yeah, that's probably
Nice. Must be nice.
Kaylee just needs to really figure it out.
I gotta say
Must be
enough
nice.
stuff about. I gotta say enough stuff about Kaylee so she starts listening.
My wife is perfect in every way.
Amazing. Just amazing.
Love you, babe, because
Pretty
you're
close.
probably gonna listen to this.
Yes.
My wife claims
But
she doesn't need to listen to the podcast because she's heard everything I've had to say.
That's what Haley said, and then she listened to it, and I got in trouble for the first episode or second episode where I said that the things about our hubby and wifey shirts that she bought.
Oh yeah, I was there.
yes.
I feel like I heard about that on
And
Twitter
then
as well.
I walk in the house, and she's doing the dishes like a good wife does.
Oh my gosh.
I'll let
But did she have the shirt on? That's the question.
No, she just turns around and she goes, "So I hear you hate our hubby and wifey shirts." No, I didn't say that. Like, yes, you did. I'm like, I said that months ago, dear. We can't talk about it because I don't actually even remember what I said.
Statute of limitations.
So yeah, I have to watch what I'm saying now on these. Otherwise, like months later, she'll hear what I said, and I don't even remember the context, and I'll be in trouble.
That's dangerous.
Sweet. That's awesome though. Congrats, man. Getting married.
Thank you. Yeah, congrats to you guys too. I mean,
we made it through a year.
Thanks.
We're getting there.
Almost there.
Almost there.
4 years to go.
So what's one of the more difficult things associated with being on a worship team or leading worship?
Probably the culture of the band and the culture of the church. I've been a part of this church for about a little over 3 years now.
Okay.
And so I came from a mega church here in town, like I was telling you, New Life. And then I came here and I played a bunch of different places. I was contracting out to a bunch of different churches. And then I landed Mountain Springs.
Come back to us,
Like set up the culture. No, dang.
We missed out on that.
It's rough.
Piece of wisdom about
culture.
Yeah,
There's something very deep there.
It was there. It
was really good.
It was really good. You were getting there.
Oh,
maybe.
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, you're back. You're
back.
Clear, you're back. You're good. So.
Okay.
So you were doing worship at a bunch of different places.
Kind of contract.
Yeah. So I was contracting out to a bunch of places, and this church was my home church while doing that. And so the culture over the past 2 years has really like solidified in the worship area. And so I had that baked into it. But when you're going into youth, it's a totally different thing because obviously you're dealing with younger kids that are growing and are learning, and so both musically and in life they're maturing. And so I think the most important and the biggest thing that is kind of a consistent like thing that you have to watch is keeping that culture healthy and alive, and making sure that you have people investing in the team members, and then you're investing in those leaders. I think that's the thing that's been the most beneficial. I've got a team of 5 mentors that mentor the students that are in the worship internship, and so each of them have a student that they work with. And so I am over them, and then they are over the kids. And so I basically let them do their thing. They meet with them once a month and work on whatever their instrument or if they're singing or whatever it is. And then we play 1 to 3 times a month with each student. And it kind of creates this thing where there's consistency, and then there's constant discipleship and development. And you've got, like, if you're consistent with it and you're intentional with it, it's really amazing what can happen. But if there's not that life coming behind it, and there's not a healthy culture in overarching, it's really difficult. So I think
you'll hear
that's
on
probably the
episode 4, which is coming next Wednesday. We actually talk about my church experiences and what you're saying there about just the importance of leadership, actually taking the time to recognize where the youth are at and that they're still growing and maturing, and instead of, throwing up all these boundaries and setting all these crazy expectations for young people who are just trying to figure stuff out, coming alongside them and investing in them. Like, that's super key. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's the thing is, it's not that it's not that hard. It just takes intentionality, and that's the difficulty, because some people don't have time or don't realize that it's important. So
that's got to be one of the big blessings of you being able to actually be on staff and not have to, barista to actually make your money and try and sell pipe boxes, and then in your few free hours of the week when you need to be investing in your new marriage, you also need to be investing into young musicians and into yourself as an introvert to get that time. Like, that's got to be huge, being able to actually just...
and I've worked for the past probably 3 years. I've worked almost every single day. And so now with the new job at the church, I have 2 days that I have completely free.
Wow.
And so, like, that's been a massive help and blessing, that I'm actually able to spend some time for myself, and like actually have some time with my wife, which, believe it or not, is important,
just slightly,
just occasionally.
Wait till you have a kid.
Oh gosh, I'll pass on. I'll wait on that one. I'll wait for a little bit. Good luck.
Hard pass.
Hard pass for a couple years. But yeah, so it's been amazing to actually have some time that I can, like, invest. So what I'll do is, like, when I'm working on making the pipe boxes, or which is like my Thursday and Friday is what I'll typically do. Cool. I'll listen to different podcasts. I'll wake up extra early in the morning, and I'll read leadership books, and just spend time with the Lord and stuff. So it's become really awesome for me to actually finally have enough time to invest in myself, along with even some of, like, the pipe boxes and stuff. Like, it really, it's a good way to kind of get out of the norm and kind of slow down. Because our weekend services, we do Saturday and Sunday. And we have 1 Saturday, 3 Sunday morning. And then I teach in the mornings on Saturday. So I go from teaching straight to sound check to home at night, and then, relax for 2 hours, go to sleep, do it again the next morning. And so, like, it's a kind of breakneck schedule sometimes. And with working so much like I was, like, it was impossible to keep up with. So it's been awesome to have some time to just stop and breathe a little bit. So
well, and you're working out, making the pipe boxes, actually doing something with your hands. So while you're investing in yourself, there's also that piece of, like, you don't feel like you're being completely selfish. Like, since I've started making pipes and stuff, it's been nice, because I'm getting that time in the evening, spending a half hour, 45 minutes just working on a pipe, which I feel like, I'm doing something valuable that's going to bring income to my household, but also in that time, that's just me, so being able to listen to music and think and process and unwind, it's super important.
That's awesome. And that what'd you call it? You called it an alien blowfish? What was the pipe
the Martian
that you made the other day? Yep. Martian. There you go. Dude, that was gorgeous. I might have to let you know on that one.
Dude, so I've been making pipes for 4 months now, which
Mm-hmm.
I was actually like looking back to see, and I was like, wow, it's like that seems like a long time, and also not like very much time, but it was
Right.
pretty neat. That pipe was the first one. So Grant Batson, I don't know if you've ever
Mm-hmm.
seen his stuff on Instagram.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I follow him.
He's kind of the guy who totally inspired me to actually try and make a pipe myself. And so
That's awesome.
he makes just the most gorgeous blowfish. And so I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I gotta try and actually make one. And that one's actually going to Mike Lancaster from TobaccoPipeCollectors.com.
I saw that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's
I'm just
really
sending
cool.
that one to him to just kind of get some of his input on it. And so pretty stoked to see what he thinks of
Oh,
it. But I
mm-hmm.
also was like kind of sad because I wanted to keep it for myself, but I want to keep
That
all of
is the
them for
hard part.
myself. And that
No, I feel you. Well, with the cigar boxes, so this is like the prototype,
okay, yeah,
and this doesn't have like the joinery or anything.
right,
And I made, this was a couple months ago, probably 2 months ago. I made a batch of 6, and I was like, yes, like I'm finally gonna get to release these and make it happen. My good friend was moving. I think he was moving to Virginia, um, and he was a kind of a new smoking buddy,
yeah,
and he messages me, and I was like, he probably wants like a single box. That's what we talked about. He was like, hey, do you have any boxes that you can give me before I head out? And I was like, yeah, like I'm working on a batch right now. If you want one, here's what I have that I'm working on. And he was like, those cigar boxes, can you make me 6 of them? I'm like, no.
all
And so like all of them just gone. I mean, it was a nice chunk of money, and it helped
right,
me buy some like tools and stuff. But I was like, dang.
right. You want to get them out so that then other people who aren't just in your friend circle are buying them.
And so within the first 2 weeks of telling people that I was working on them, all 4 are already sold again. And so I'm like, no.
Yeah,
Dude,
it's
it's a
hard to
good
get
problem
ahead
to
of.
So I
have.
guess people like them.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. So I might just like put them up for pre-order pretty soon and just be like, well, they'll come when they come.
Right. Yeah, I need to order some.
They're pretty decent. I kind of like them.
I would hope so. That wouldn't be a good sales pitch. Yeah, I hate my
No.
own products. They're just
Yeah, they suck.
garbage.
Yeah, easier to sell when you believe in it.
Yeah, they're full oak construction, so they're a pain in the butt to work with every once in a while. Because the oak will tear out pretty badly on the router if you're not careful.
Oh, sure.
But when they turn out well, they turn out really nice. So I'm excited about them.
Yeah. Yeah, you're doing cool stuff. It's neat to see the different things that you have coming down the pipeline, and I think
Down
it's
the
going to be sweet
pipeline.
when you
Oh,
get them up.
hold on one second. Hey, yeah, I'm down here. I am. Oh, no worries. Yeah, it's just me down here.
The wife.
See ya. Neighbor.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Listen to
She
Cowboys
was
and
like,
Unicorns.
listen to it. Listen to it. She was like, I smelled smoke, and I was concerned because we had a fire here in Black Forest that wiped out literally half the forest. It destroyed
Oh,
like
wow.
500 some homes 2 summers ago,
Yikes.
and it was crazy. So that's why it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I smell smoke.
Is there another?
My house on fire?
Literally, though.
Nope, it's just that neighbor that smokes and drinks all the time.
Yep.
So
Pretty
do you
much.
have a workshop at your house, or where do you do all your pipe work or your box work?
that is the fun thing. So I'm like between 3 different workshops at any given time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a. I have like half of what I need.
Pause.
Oh.
Are you back?
Maybe.
There you
Possibly.
go. So you have half of what you
I
need?
might be. Oh, so I have half of what I need. And then there's one shop. So that guy that helped me originally, he lets me use his shop. And so he's got everything I could ever dream of and more things that I don't even know what they do.
Yeah.
So when I'm able to go over there, I try and get a bunch of stuff done. But I'm working here in the next probably 2 months. I'll be able to pick up the rest of everything that I need. So that'll be really nice. But until then, I'm kind of in between a couple different places that have different things that I need. So
Right.
it's a bit of a pain, but you get used to it. So
yeah, there's so many different tools that you need to be able to actually make things in a fast enough, efficient process, to make it.
Yeah, and like some of it, like I can make it work, but I don't want to.
Well, right, and you wouldn't be able to sell them at such an affordable price point if you had to kind of jerry rig and manually do those things. So
yeah, a lot of it would take way more time and way more investment than I will probably have for the foreseeable future. Hand cutting box joints is easy.
Invest in kids, not hand cut box joints.
Yeah. Slightly more important.
So, have you ever gotten any negative feedback or kickback on the fact that you run a smoking type company and you're also heavily involved in the church and investing in young people's lives?
Thus far, actually, no, which has been awesome.
That's good.
But the reason is because I keep it very separate. Like with my personal accounts and company accounts, like I keep them entirely separate. I don't do any crossover.
Right.
So that's helped me. So I don't my friends know, and a lot of them will come over and smoke with me and stuff like that. But I don't just toss it out there for students and parents and everyone else to see.
Right. So you're living a double life, really, is what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So when we post the episode, we'll tag your Cooley pipe supply account and not your personal.
Yeah. There it is. But yeah, so it's been good. A lot of some of the staff members are pipe smokers, and so we'll get together every once in a while and we'll chill, and they'll use my boxes and pipes and stuff, so it's fun.
Well, it's just that important piece, I suppose, of when you're kind of getting more involved with a new church community, building a relationship before, so that then people know you and know your heart on a personal level.
Right.
Because otherwise, just out of the blue, they might make total wrong assumptions.
Right. Exactly. And so, kind of the way I play it is if I know they smoke, then I'll talk to them about it. Otherwise I just say, oh yeah, I do some woodworking on the side. It's pretty simple to explain.
Right. Yep.
So, but and it's not like a secret thing. I think it's easier to talk to people and invest in people when they don't think that you have something that's incredibly wrong with you.
Well, yeah, especially when you're investing in youth.
Exactly.
That's just a tough line to toe.
Yeah.
You want to let them make their own decisions, but you also probably don't want to get them all inspired into the pipe and cigar smoking culture at the age of 16, and then you also don't need their parents,
That doesn't go over well.
But there's other things to worry about smoking there in Colorado more than pipes, probably. So.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, seriously. Well, the funny thing is it's a cult that it's become a culture downtown. But most of the rest of, especially Colorado Springs, at least Colorado Springs is super conservative. We have, if I remember right, I think this is still true, but we have the most churches and nonprofits, Christian nonprofits in the country in one place. And so like focus on the family, compassion, a bunch of places like have their headquarters here. With what you talk to about with who. So it's just kind of the culture. It's a little weird, but the marijuana smoking culture, like it hangs out downtown and pretty much nowhere else, which is nice. But as soon as you drive downtown, you're driving down there and you smell it, like it hits you like a wall.
Huh. So how long has it been that marijuana has been legalized in Colorado then?
I want to say it's been
5, 6.
No, well, so it's been legalized, I think, for 2 years, like for recreational use.
Yep.
But it's been before that, like you could get a medical card. So it's kind of blown up. There's one time actually, it's kind of funny. My wife and I were on a date. Us out of the blue, we're standing outside the restaurant waiting to sit down. This guy comes up, probably late 50s, mid 50s, and he's like, "Hey, do you know where this whatever it was called dispensary is?" I'm like, "No." And so he's like, "Oh, do you know of any that are open right now?" And it's like 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And we're like, you might try downtown, maybe. He was like, "Oh, okay, like yeah, I might have to look down there."
Huh.
And we just like, and he walked away, and we walked away from it. We're like, do we like we're wearing dress clothes? Like I've got like a nice shirt and jeans on. She's got a dress on. Like, do we look like we're pot smokers? Is that everyone a pot smoker immediately in Colorado to you?
Yeah,
like,
if you're in Colorado, you're a pot smoker for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, most don't.
No, it's got to be a whole nother. I mean, that's just something that we don't. Since it's not legalized in Minnesota, it's like an issue that isn't actually necessarily like something that you actually have to be proactive or really think too much about, because it's not culturally acceptable at this point, and so it's not something that's in your face and you have to actually kind of navigate through. So it's just kind of interesting.
Yeah, I haven't had to deal with it with students. So one of my friends is a worship pastor downtown, and he's also the youth pastor. And so he actually deals with. He's had a couple students that have had issues with it, and then he sees a lot of parents. Like, and there's an area called Manitou Springs, and there's a lot of like weird stuff down there. Like it's pot smoking central. They have a bunch of like witchcraft crap down there. Like people like going to the forest and like sacrificing babies and crap. Like it's ridiculous. It's messed up.
What?
But yeah, babies. Like yeah.
Like, is that a rumor? Is that real?
No, like that's actually real. Look in the news. Yeah, Manitou Springs is sketch.
Wow,
Manitou but so he's
like
let's not go.
Manitou. Yeah, maybe don't.
We can Google it, but let's not actually do it.
Just died.
But anyway, so he deals with a lot of he deals with a lot of students that have parents that are strung out consistently or stuff like that. And so it's more of an issue, like I said, downtown in that area than up north. And Colorado Springs is a weird city because it's really long. It's stretched out across I-25. It's not like a typical Midwest city where it's like it's one central area. It's probably 25 miles long across this highway on either side of the highway, and so it's kind of a weird layout, but that's why there's like this north and south side kind of thing going on. So
there are some strange headlines when you Google Manitou Springs.
Yep, real strange.
Wow.
What are some of your favorites that you're reading?
Kind of sounds like
pretty much the whole city's a cult.
Witches that fly on broomsticks and claim to cause lightning and hail. and change
Yep.
into animals and practice child sacrifice.
Sounds like
Yep.
a charismatic preacher.
Oh, yikes.
But yeah, that's Manitou for you.
Wow. All right. Well, I know where not to
Mhm.
go with my newborn.
They've got a sweet penny arcade.
Oh,
Well, maybe I will
man,
go
dude.
there then.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
Dan will go and check it out for us. He looks
Yeah,
like a hippie.
I'll do the hardcore journalistic work here.
Dan's a
Yeah. Get
content
it.
specialist. He's all about journalism and stuff.
Yeah,
Getting the story.
sure.
Good luck. If someone offers you something, just say no. Just say no.
Want some water? No. What's in the
You
water?
gotta say yes.
No.
I've only been to Colorado once, I think. I went, unless I was there when I was a kid with my parents, but I don't think so. I actually graduated from the University of Denver with a master's degree this spring. I did a
That's
program
awesome.
online. So I was in Denver
Yeah.
at the beginning of June, went hiking and went to my graduation ceremony and stuff. So
Yeah, it's cool up there.
yeah, no, it was fun, good experience. The part I drove through just to Denver and then back to Minnesota. So
Okay.
most of Denver just seemed like at least the part I drove through. It wasn't much.
Yeah.
But
I
Denver
mean,
was sweet.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a sweet place.
So did you listen? You mentioned Focus on the Family. Did you
Yes.
listen to Adventures in Odyssey as a kid?
Are you kidding me?
Right.
Yes.
Okay. I was just thinking.
Absolutely.
Homeschooled, Focus on the Family. I spent
That's
hours
quality
and
right
hours listening to Adventures in Odyssey.
It was good stuff.
If any listeners don't know what we're talking about, you should go check it out. It's some pretty good audio drama.
It is. I actually know one of my regulars at two of the shops that I worked at was the director for Adventures in Odyssey and has been for 20 years.
Wow.
And so he's over their whole audio drama area at Focus. And so he pretty much, you name it, he's probably either been on it or been in charge of it. So it's pretty
That's
sweet.
super cool.
We should
Yeah.
get him on the podcast.
That would be cool. He actually, I don't know if he smokes. He looks like he would. He's an older guy with glasses, and like he constantly wears a fedora. Or well, not a fedora, like a what do you call? It's like a
like a driver's cap?
Like a cowboy hat and a fedora.
like the ones that you wear sometimes. Like the James
Yes.
Bay type hat.
Yes,
who
James Bay.
Bay is?
There you go. I definitely know who James Bay. When I let my hair down, it's up right now.
Right.
I've had people be like, "Oh, you look like James Bay." I'm like,
Yeah.
Who's James
okay.
He's actually kind of like a slight claim to fame of mine, because now he's like super mainstream and everybody knows who he is. But I gave my brother-in-law and I found him on Spotify before like anyone knew who he was, and back when he just had a bunch of really small EPs,
Okay.
that were really good, and then he got picked up by a big label and basically re-recorded all the songs he already had on his EPs, but a little more poppy. And
Yeah.
we went to one of his concerts in Minneapolis, and he's actually a douche. He's like just a really aloof, like, but he's from Britain or something. He's a Brit, I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
So
yeah.
talking about that, so I heard, David, you're a drummer.
Yep.
So how long have you drummed?
Man, since I was 12, so we're going on 11 years that I've been a drummer.
Awesome.
Yep.
Very
Yep.
Cool.
How'd I get started?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like growing up, I've got pictures of me playing on pots and pans and everything.
Yeah.
Every time we go to a Chinese restaurant, I'd get chopsticks and use them as drumsticks.
Yep.
And then when I was like, I was born in California and grew up there till I was 9.
Awesome.
And I wanted to be a drummer back then, but when I was like 8, my dad was like, okay, I'll get you drum lessons. So he I had one drum lesson with the drummer at the church we were a part of, but all he did was give me drumsticks and a practice pad, and he's like, learn all these rudiments. And as a
Go to town.
year-old, I was like, no, I want to play the drums. And
Right.
so I never actually picked up on it then, because I was like, no, this is stupid. I want to play the drums, and I didn't actually see how valuable that would have been. And then when we moved to Minnesota, my dad planted a church in a really, really small town up northern Minnesota. And after about a year, they bought a drum kit and didn't have anyone who was a drummer. And so
Very cool.
I was probably a huge torment to all the gray-haired people in that church, because I had no lessons, no anything.
Oh no!
And
Good.
I mean, I had the kick on 2 and 4 with the snare drum all the time, and it was just bad.
Yes.
Then I've had maybe 6 or 7 lessons, but I had 3 lessons after drumming for a couple years, and actually learned the basic fundamentals I needed to know. And I figured it out from there. So
nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And you play guitar and a little bit of drums, or?
Yeah, so I'm I started guitar when I was about 7 or 8. My first guitar teacher was a jazz guitarist at our church, and he's actually ridiculous. He would go on the weekends to Chicago. We lived about 45 minutes outside of Chicago in Indiana.
Okay.
And he would play in the jazz clubs out there.
Wow.
And in the past probably 8 to 10 years, he moved down to New Orleans. And he opened for Stevie Wonder a couple years back.
Wow.
He played at the President's Gala for Katrina a couple years ago. He played for the New Orleans tourism commercial. Just crazy random stuff. He's amazing.
Yeah.
So I started there, moved out here, started getting some lessons from some different touring musicians and studio musicians at our church.
Yeah.
And then I started teaching after that.
Yeah.
And so my main guitar's instrument, or my main instrument is guitar.
Got it.
But I can play bass. I can play piano. I had to do it in college. When I was going to school for music. I have a degree in music theory and composition, so I have a nice little piece of paper that tells me I know what I'm doing.
Where'd you go to college?
A local school here in town. It's called Pikes Peak Community College, and it sounds lame. The people that yeah, there you go. The professors there actually all used to teach at really big colleges. So the guy who's in charge of it, William Malone, he used to teach at Tufts University, which I don't know if you guys heard that, but I mean, couple $100,000 school.
Right.
He was their director, their music director over there, and he has a doctorate in saxophone performance and music theory. So crazy good musician. One of the other guys, Abe Minzer, he has his doctorate in piano performance, and so he's actually one of the leading experts on Tchaikovsky. And so he tours around the country in the summer and teaches master classes at different massive colleges. He's been flown out to England and Germany and all sorts of crazy stuff. Our singing teacher had a master's in music pedagogy, and so she wrote her own curriculum for college for a singing book. Crazy, incredible teachers.
Huge value for a community college. That's awesome.
Yeah. And so that was a great experience. But I learned piano through that. And then I can survive a set on drums. I will never say I am good or a drummer, but I can make it work. It'll sound all right.
Yeah. All you gotta do is just stick in the pocket and not get too fancy.
Yeah, exactly.
So, are you a John Mayer fan?
I am a John Mayer fan.
All right, good. That's
Absolutely.
all we need to know.
His new EPs. And well, I guess his new album now.
Right.
What do you think?
So it's hard not to be disappointed because it was promised to be a trio record,
Oh, that's true.
and it wasn't.
Yeah.
But it's one of those, like, once you get past the disappointment, you're just like, he's brilliant, and he's done it again. So,
Amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Everything about John Mayer is amazing, and I would probably marry him if I wasn't married. Probably not, but no,
I get you.
Think about it.
Consider it. But his Continuum record was pretty much groundbreaking for me as a drummer, and everything that he's put out is. I just love how he reinvents himself for every record. Like, it's not, no two records are like, oh yeah, it's the same sound. Like, it's Mayer, but he's like, oh, I'm just gonna go build a house in Montana, and or Wyoming, whichever it was, and I'm gonna just do the whole kind of folksy, bluesy country thing for a record. He just
or two.
Or two.
That'd be a good blog post for our site, like the 11 guys David Swedburg would go gay for.
Oh man.
To up the traffic on the podcast site. I think
Mayer's the only one.
Okay. I was just cracking the door.
Or Adam Levine.
Okay. So we got two. We just
slowly
build the list.
Because of the tattoos.
Amen. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's great.
Any other
so Dan,
things that you're hugely inspired by, Christian?
Musical influences?
Musical influences. I love The Edge.
He'll come back to us shortly.
Oh.
I love how he can hear every time we say that.
No. Right.
The connection is
It must be our problem.
Yep. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Maybe not. Freaking A.
And we're taking callers.
Yep. Caller number one.
On Cowboys and
me? You there?
Come on. Dan, would you like to scream?
Struggles.
Yeah.
Right.
Dan used to have a screamo band, just in case you're wondering, Christian.
I was going to ask about that. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. So Dan, before I go into musical influences, screamo band, you got to tell me.
Yeah, that was 4 years ago-ish.
So yesterday.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, it was still a thing.
Yeah, maybe.
The glory days.
Maybe again. Yeah, I had a band called Word Will Spread that I was in.
Did word spread?
A little bit.
Okay, all right.
Just, it was for fun. We're just a local band, and my brother drummed, and then 3 of our buddies played guitar and bass and stuff. So we had a few shows. It was fun. We used to play on the campus where we went to school and do shows and a couple times down in the cities and stuff. But yeah, I miss screaming. Yeah. I'm not super musical, so the fact that I could just scream and do vocals and be in a band was super appealing to me. But yeah, I definitely miss
Totally.
Bring it back.
Right.
That's awesome. We should just form a band right now. I'll probably, cut out every once in a while.
You can move to Morris. Your wife would probably love it.
Probably not.
I'll move here. It's the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, have you looked up Morris on a map?
Yeah, no, I haven't.
It's just cornfields.
I feel like I'd have a little trouble finding it. Yeah. That's how it is in Indiana.
Yeah, it's probably fairly simple.
Just cornfields. Yeah. That's it. Yep. Musical influences wise, I listen to a lot of Bethel since I went to their school of worship. So a lot of their guitarists. I love one of my best friends plays for a guy Have you heard the song Chainbreaker? It's been on the radio like crazy. Zach Williams is the guy's name. But anyways, he moved to Nashville, or my best friend moved to Nashville a couple of years ago, and he plays for him. So shameless plug for Nick Mayer. But I listen to a lot of like John Mark McMillan. Like, I actually really like Hillsong Young and Free because I'm a youth guy.
Yeah,
And
right. Yeah,
their guitar is actually really interesting because, especially with pop, like it's become a totally different thing rather than these like screaming solos and like big chunky guitars. It's a lot of like really, it's not even ambient stuff all the time. It's more so it's like this really kind of thin sound.
Yeah, it's kind of chimey
with a lot of kind of chimey. It's got like a lot of interesting like reverbs and delays and stuff like that. So I kind of dig that occasionally, you know. But yeah, stuff like that. So I feel like I don't listen to music enough. Since I've been listening to podcasts and just leading all the time, it's like it's hard to like find different bands to listen to and like find. So like here's a good example. I've been teaching Skater Boy by Avril Lavigne for the past month and a half to one of my students. So that's been fun.
On guitar, wow. All I can think of is the words of that song. I wouldn't think anyone would actually want to learn it.
Right, exactly.
But Last Resort by Papa Roach was like the song when I got drum lessons that I was like, teach me how to play.
There you go. Yeah, heck yeah.
So I guess
my friend, one of my good friends, Ryan, he is one of Papa Roach's. Oh, I lost you.
Okay, yep.
And we're back.
Your friend Ryan is one of Papa Roach's something.
Tour managers.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. Dude, you know people.
I've got a lot of friends that have a lot of friends in the industry. So
that's what you get, I suppose, when you go to Colorado instead of hang out here in Morris.
The funny thing is, the way I know them is the Ryan was in a band with one of my childhood friends, and we've kept in contact with them, and they were doing a rock band for a while, and they moved down to Nashville. And Ryan, the band kind of fell apart here in the last year or two. And Ryan was he had done a bunch of different stuff. He was an intelligence officer for years in the Army for Special Forces.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy stuff. But anyway, so he decided, he was like, well, I can do. He'll put his mind to anything, and he'll just do it. He was a VP for Pella, the window maker. So like he's done a ton of stuff, but he was like, I could probably manage bands. I've got enough friends. And so like he's managed a bunch of crazy tours. And so like there's just random connections like that you get. You meet a sound guy and he's, done sound for Black Eyed Peas and, Shirley Manson, and like all these crazy different people. It's no big deal to these people. It's just their job. So it's really interesting who you meet over the years. One of my good friends used to be the guitar player for Audio Adrenaline in the last 4 years of the band. So it's like there's weird, crazy people that you meet that you're like, oh, you did this, this, and this, but you would never know unless you sat down and talked to them for an hour, and it was like, so what, you played guitar for someone and did this, and they're like, oh yeah.
And then you're like, oh yeah, that's a band that I loved when I was a kid. That's weird.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Or like when I was playing with a band that was signed to Integrity for a while, and we played a couple festivals here in Colorado, and did a couple touring stuff. But we played the closer at a festival for Swedburg. Played right before us. And they're my favorite band. At another festival we played at, we closed after Skillet and then closed after Newsboys. Like just weird, crazy stuff like that you meet people along the way, and it's interesting. But some musicians are cool. Some people suck. the Christian music industry tends to suck,
Generally.
which is sad. Yeah, people wise, but you can't pick and choose all the time.
Right.
So
That's awesome, man.
yeah.
Super cool. What are you drinking? It looks like you got some whiskey there, some brandy or something.
Yeah. So I have a couple bottles of whiskey, and I was like, I don't know with the Sombresa, it's a pretty bright cigar. So I grabbed some of this. I mean, you can't really see it. It's a Corbel VSOP brandy. So it's a 3-year Gold Reserve brandy.
Huh.
But it's really nice. It's pretty fruity. And in a brandy snifter, it opens up quite nicely. So
Nice.
Sweet.
yeah.
Dope.
How's your cigar? Is it everything you hoped it'd be?
It is. The last funny story. So I've only ever thrown up once smoking a cigar. And that was a month ago for me. Actually, well, I guess it'd be like 3 weeks ago now. I went camping with friends, and we were sitting around the fire. I had been given this. I won a whiskey from Top Whiskeys on Instagram. They were doing a giveaway, and I won a 8-year Irish single malt. It's really good. It's Anferquillian from I guess that's the maker, but they're in Ireland, so they shipped it from Dublin to the U.S. and to Colorado in 2 days. I don't know how they did it or why they did that, but they gave me like 2 Glencairn glasses. They gave me the bottle, a bunch of other little stuff. So I had taken that, and there was a cigar that I've been wanting to try for a long time, and it's the Tabernacle is what it's called. Really, really great tasting cigar. And I got, a little over 3/4 through it. We were sitting around the fire, drinking the whiskey. We had just popped it open. But before that, I had wings with a bunch of hot sauce.
Oh no!
And it did
Hot
not
sauce
mix.
Yeah, that doesn't
Yeah, that was a poor choice.
sit well. Yeah, I went on a camping trip with my brother-in-law and a couple friends. It was probably 2, maybe 3 years ago now. But we decided, bachelor life, live it up.
Heck
We each brought like 6 cigars for the 2 days.
yeah.
And so like cigar at breakfast, cigar at lunch.
Ooh. Oof.
And then cigar at dinner. And I was like, I don't think I can smoke. I didn't smoke another cigar for probably like 3 months after that.
Oh man.
It just kind of took the wind out of my sails, but
that's hard.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's fair.
Everything in moderation is the lesson to be learned there.
Yeah.
And no wings before.
And no. Dan, have you ever thrown up after smoking a cigar?
I have not. No, I went on a camping trip once, smoked a day, and felt amazing.
Dan has this. Dan's less worried to think about the flavors, and he just loves to smoke.
Yeah, man, I need to learn more because I don't know. People ask me about cigars because I smoke them, and I go, I don't know much. I just like smoking them.
Yeah,
they're more confusing too. Like I can wrap my head around different, like whiskey brands or alcohol and stuff. And maybe it's just because I've done more reading and research around like liquor and stuff. But yeah, cigars. I don't know. I need to get a book or something and just sit down with it. So
yeah, and if you just as you try more of them, I think that you start to Once you've had a bunch of different ones, then it's easier to start to pick out the different taste notes and stuff because it's like okay,
absolutely.
I've had 30 different cigars and now I can start to taste. Oh, this one's different than the last one. And,
right.
There's that piece to it too, but
yeah.
It's all good.
It's good.
It's awesome.
You'll get there.
Yep.
We'll pray for you.
Someday.
Right.
And send you cigars.
we're just getting Dan into pipe smoking here. I made him a pipe.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, this is probably like the
I love it.
time I smoked a pipe.
Yep.
And I'm starting to like it more. The first couple times, I was like, oh, it's not a cigar.
it's the maintenance kind of.
Yeah,
You actually learn to appreciate it, but right away you're
Yeah.
like, this thing's going out all the time.
I gotta light it all the time.
Yeah.
Just got to take care of it. Got to pamper it.
True.
Just love it. Talk to it.
Yep.
Sing it songs.
I like the cigar you made me though. It's, I don't know, looks cool.
Gotta get your pipe box. Actually, yours would probably fit perfectly in a pipe box. Let's see here.
Let's try it out.
I mean, it could probably use a bent stem, but you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It works, right?
Doing
It does.
things that, like visual things on a podcast that's only audio. You start showing people stuff and you're like, wait, they can't see it.
Yeah.
Maybe someday we'll like live stream this.
That would be fun.
There you go.
Good Ustream thing or something.
Yeah.
And it
Oh, there we go.
back.
Check in your Instagram during the podcast. Oh, man.
The wife.
Oh, the wife. Hey, tell her to come get on, and we'll ask her
Yeah.
about her design and sign business, whatever.
Yeah. What's her name?
Yeah. Juliet. Is her name?
Juliet.
It's a pretty name.
Yeah. And she has a company called Balsam and Oak.
Balsam and Oak.
She does like hand-drawn signs. She does jewelry. She does all sorts of cool stuff, like leather bands. She made me like let me see if I can get it. A little leather band and like a keychain for my keys and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
You guys
Yeah,
are entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
we try.
It's
We
great
try
with
occasionally.
like with the internet. It seems like everybody's got a little side hustle.
Yeah,
Like creative people are like, oh yeah, I work this job and then do this on the side.
Yeah.
Sort of gives
Yeah.
people an outlet for it.
absolutely. It's like with our generation, like it's become a really big thing because I think a lot of people don't find full like enjoyment in their jobs. Like they might love it, but they might have different creative outlets that they're like, like I've always wanted to do this, or I've always wanted to, learn to do this, and so they go for it, and they're like, I can make some money on the side doing it and have a little fun with it. So I think it's awesome.
Right, and you can like find just like a small community that cares about what you're doing. It's not like I want to start a business, so I've got to like market this, nationally or something like that. It's
right.
Start as small as you want it, and kind of build it from there.
Yeah, and when you're doing it on the side, there's not that stress of I either have to succeed at this or I'm going to starve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
Right. That helps.
Yep.
Yeah. Like I got into Distinguished Ruffians a couple months ago, and I saw you did today.
I applied to be a Distinguished Ruffian probably 3 months ago, and I've been like, did they get this? And just today, I'm an official Distinguished Ruffian.
So how does it work?
Heyo.
All you
it's
do,
like a smoking club.
It's like a community of. I think it started out as cigar smokers, and now they're branching out to be more,
pipe smokers, cigar smokers
in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you just go online and you send a picture and basically answer a couple questions, and then they send you a patch in the mail and an acceptance letter, and you're like part of the family.
Dude.
So,
yeah, in the club.
Yeah, you gotta join. You have to wait 3 months though.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, but as soon as I joined, I got like another 100 followers within the next month.
Right.
And I've kept in touch with some of the guys and talked to them, and there's actually been some cool relationships like that have come out of it. Like there's just one guy, Jonathan, down in Arizona. I was leaving Arizona. I was down there on vacation earlier this year. And he messaged me and he's like, you're in Arizona? And I was like, well, I'm currently driving out of it. He's like, dude, next time you come down, I wrap my own cigars, I cut my own tobacco, I make my own beer. He's like, come on over, you're welcome anytime, just let me know.
And you're like, I'm turning around, what's your address?
Right, exactly. Yeah, so it's like there's a cool community around it. So, and that's the weird thing about Instagram is it's like there can be these like niche cultures and communities.
There is such a cool community. It's like a pipe smoking community on Instagram. Yeah. It's kind of blown my mind in the last couple months.
I think
awesome.
I think that's like one area where like social media doesn't receive enough credit. It seems like a lot of the news and the buzz around it is about the negative aspects or the clickbait or the arguments on Facebook and stuff. But if you use it right, you can use social media to like make real connections with people,
Right.
and
Yeah.
like you can generate like offline community based off of finding people online. And I think
Yeah.
that's kind of like the most exciting, most uplifting part of social media. Is when you're
Totally.
connecting
Yeah.
with people that are doing similar things that you never would have found out about without
Right.
the internet or without social networking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I never would have met David
Right. Yeah.
if I wouldn't have just been like, oh, I think someone mentioned you on something. And I was like, oh, Swedburg pipes. Let's check it out. And so I followed, and that's how we did this.
Yeah. No.
So it's cool. Make interesting connections.
Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely value to, I mean, the ability to find like-minded people and connect up and build meaningful relationships outside of just, oh, well, you just have to go meet people. Well, we live in Morris. Maybe Christian could go meet people. He probably doesn't need social media. But we live in a small town and
just keeping us people out in the boonies, educated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay up on the culture.
Totally. We do what we can,
You have family back in Indiana? Like, do you ever go back or?
Most of my family outside of my parents is either there or in like Phoenix area.
Okay.
So yeah, I try and go back once every year. This past 2 years I haven't made it out there, but we're hoping to go back so my wife can meet my immediate family that didn't come to the wedding.
No shame
hopefully
there.
next year. Yeah,
The
it's a long haul. But yeah, so I mean, to be fair, like Juliet has her whole dad's family is still in England.
Oh wow!
And so they've come out a couple times, so I've met them, but they didn't make it out to the wedding either because I mean, it's like
have they flown you out there yet?
Not yet. We'll get there.
Got to get on that.
We'll get there. I know, right? We'll get there at some point.
Yeah. Bring some pipe boxes. And...
Right? Yeah, hope I don't get shunned, the usual.
All those sorts of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, in-laws are fun.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right, guys. Well, I better wrap it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, good stuff. Thanks for being willing to take the time and come on our show. We really appreciate it. It's good
absolutely.
To meet you.
It was a blast. Yeah, we'll have to do it again sometime.
Yeah, definitely. For sure. And for all the listeners, go check out Cooley Pipe Supply on Etsy and Instagram and Facebook.
Yep.
Give them a like, buy some accessories, buy a pipe.
How you liking those tampers?
Dude, it's sweet. Yeah.
Good.
It's the stuff that he makes is just, I mean, the quality speaks for itself, especially at the price point. So check it out.
Support local smoking.
Yes.
Yes, and amen.
Awesome. Thanks, Christian.
Catch you later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Signing
Thanks, guys.
David.
This is Dad.